Hi, everybody. I want to talk about how to find some of this extra disposable income that you can use for investing. I know a lot of times we think we can't find the money. And I mean, sometimes that's true, right? Um, but I think a lot of times people um, don't really know that sometimes they have timing issues in their finances. So let me give you an example of this. Um, Many years ago now, it was probably 20 years ago at this juncture, I was visiting a friend in Miami, Florida, and and we got to talking about financial management, personal finances, all that sort of stuff, and so in that conversation, she kind of knew already that I invested and that I, could find extra money or have money left over at the end of the month. And she's like, there are just times when I feel like I have nothing, you know. And I said, well, you might have something. So let's take a look at this because at first I asked her, do you really kind of keep track of what's going on? And she didn't really. And I said, so here's an exercise I want to go through with you. So we sat down at the table, pulled out a piece of paper, and I said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to outline all of your bills, every one of them. So when is your cable bill due? When is your car payment due? When is your rent due? Um, when are any of these other things due? Like when do you have to pay your credit card bills? On average, how much do you have to pay on those, etc. So we mapped it out. We mapped it out by day in a typical month. And I said, on the other side of the paper, I want you to write down when do you get paid? Because most people get paid on a fairly regular schedule, especially if you're on salary. You'll get paid on the 1st and the 15th, or maybe every 2 weeks on a Friday. It's pretty regular. Okay. But I want you to write down on the other side of the paper when do you get paid and how much. And then we'll take a look at this. Okay. So as she started putting it together, I said, it's really easy to see. Here's what your problem is. Your paycheck that comes in on the first of the month has to cover like 80% of your bills. It's no wonder that there are periods of time in the month where you feel like you have zero money. Okay. And all this is a timing issue, a timing problem. Um, so a lot of these companies, especially like credit card companies, you can say to them, I want to change you could call them up, say, I want to change the date that my bill is due, because I've been looking at my finances. I've got a lot of bills that come due in the first half of the month, and I need to move it to later in the month if that's possible. A lot of times they'll move it. Your utility company might do the same. you know Now you might have a period of time where you have a slightly higher bill, because of moving these dates. Car payment companies can move your due date. Easy cheesy. Okay. Some may charge a fee for it, but in the end it's worth it. Because it's usually not going to be a huge amount of money. um, but that could be a factor for you. um, but then it just is a matter of going and talking to people and seeing what you can do, because essentially we want to match up our expenses to when the money's coming in. And especially early on in my career, in my lifetime, um, with only one paycheck. I have multiple paychecks now, multiple income streams now, but um, in the beginning I just had my job, and so that had to cover everything. And um, it was one of those things where if I didn't pay attention to when the kind of matching things up, um, then I ran out of money too, right? So because I budget and because I kind of map these things out for myself, um, I kind of knew that these timing issues can cause problems. Plus, there is a particular pay schedule that you might be on that is just a pain in the butt. I hate it. I hate it. It's that every 2 week paycheck process. Uh, I hate that payroll. And I've been on that a couple of times with different companies. I prefer the semi monthly, you know, because it's more even, right? So if you have a semi monthly payroll, you'll get two paychecks, or yeah, semi monthly, you'll get two paychecks every month, every single month. Okay. But if you're on an every 2 week pay schedule, there will be a couple of months of the year you get three paychecks because it instead of having 24 pay periods, which is semi-monthly, you'll have 26, which is the every 2 week cycle. So essentially, 10 months out of the year, you have to live on a little bit less income. Okay. Which just sucks, because your purchasing power every month, even though your annual salary is the same, it's a timing issue. It's a timing problem. And so what I might do is like create another video showing you exactly why this happens. And if you are on a 26 pay period payroll, yeah, if you're paid every 2 weeks, you're having to live most of the year on a little less money every month than what your annual payroll really suggests, right? So I'll do another video on that so that you can see how that can change your income. But you can also Google it and see just how different it is. But anyway, that's a really great little exercise to do. You don't have to do it forever. You just do it once and kind of see how things are kind of falling in place. Because honestly, once she moved some of these things around, she had an extra $100 or an extra $200 that she could start to invest. And that's really what this is all about, right? It's finding those little places where we can put a little aside and we can do it consistently. Because again, if you remember in that video about the four paths, um, investing is a path to building wealth. And so we want to make sure that we have some extra income, extra left over at the end of the month, or that we just, follow the paradigm of we pay ourselves first, right? But until she found that she could have some extra money, she couldn't even pay herself first, or she didn't feel like it, right? So do that for yourself and let us know in the comments how it goes for you, and if you find some extra cash that you didn't know you had. Okay. All right. I will talk to you soon. And thanks so much.